Welcome back to the channel, people. Thank you for coming back to KKNEV. This is an end of year roundup of a lot of stuff that we've covered and some topics that I'm going to bring up that have happened in 2025. Now, before I forget, I have to say a real big thank you to all my new subscribers in 2025, and also to all the people that have stayed with me on the channel. I'm going towards 3,000 subscribers now, which I think is fantastic for the small clicky thing I do. Anyone that's not subscribed but you're watching me now, give it the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up on every post, helps the analytics yet again. Come along for the ride. Again, this is all down to this year, and I've got to say it, and I don't normally get politically involved, although I do make a lot of statements outside of this channel on Facebook about this certain person, and that's Smelly Trump. Now, he has upset the world basically in 2025, and like I said, I'm not going to get too deep and too political, but this here, that cushion there, look, yeah, Route 66. We were over there, and it's on the channel, a couple of years back, doing the west side, which I found glorious, from Albuquerque all the way down to LA, but we did it the other way. We went LA to Albuquerque in New Mexico. So go and watch that if you want a bit of a Route 66 vibe. I brought it up because we have kind of already said that our Route 66 2026 100-year celebration, it was going to be a 3-week period, we've now kind of cancelled. A lot of you knew that we were making plans to go back in 2026. That ain't going to happen now, because I feel that America is a bit more dangerous now than it was before. It's far more expensive. Hotels have gone up through the roof. We were going to do it with a full EV, and that would have still been the plan. Not a fossil fuel car, because I've done enough road trips in America in fossil fuel cars, and that time has now got to come to an end. Simple as that. And it's all down to one man, and that's Trump and his administration. I just have this sneaky feeling that I would get to US immigration, like thousands might do. Pay all this money to get over there, pre-book it, plan it for months, and then get turned away for one silly comment on your social media, or one factual comment to say that you don't like the bloke or you don't like the administration, and they turn you away for that. It was bad enough getting into America as it is, you know, with long queues, and you've got to pay for an ESTA, and then they go through and they vet you and all the rest of it. And you know, I've always got in, don't get me wrong, and I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds in America on vacation. And this brings me to the first topic of 2025, and that's EVs in America and the way they've been looked at politically. I will say that GM are trying, and I will say that Ford have tried.
Mr. President and Secretary, all the important lawmakers here, competitors, today is a victory of common sense and affordability. We're very proud of Ford.
Ford just simply went about this the wrong way. 2 to 4 years ago, when Biden was in control, Ford was saying that EVs were the best thing since sliced bread. They did it all wrong, they invested wrong, they didn't bring out enough vehicles, good enough vehicles to break the American market, and here in Europe, they let us down as well by going into Volkswagen, instead of coming up with something original. Terrible. This is embarrassing to watch Farley behind the orange man spouting off about how good they are. Wow. I will never buy another Ford. The CEO of Ford, Mr. Farley, bless him, and gave everybody all this crap about, our EVs are the future, Ford are going to invest billions and blah, blah, blah. Ford have now took the side of Trump. Ford have said that, we should never have took the EV route as much as we did, and blah, 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 and it's all gone a bit of a yawn. Mr. Farley, the two-faced man, who was seen driving a top quality Chinese EV around.
I drive in a Xiaomi SU7, high quality, great digital experience.
So you're driving a Chinese?
I do.
Saying how brilliant it was and how it made his company look a bit silly and backward. Well, I'm kind of agreeing with that now, and you're talking to a Ford man here. I've had Fords for, 50 years of my life. My first car was a Ford Corsair. GM are going forward with a few more vehicles. They're trying a bit harder, but again, there's so many hardcore fossil fuel heads in America that have been brought up with, my granddaddy never had one, so why should I need one of those things? And that educational curve is just not being there in America. They don't see electric as the way forward at this particular time. So 2025 to me is going to go down as one of the bad years of the USA, in my opinion. With Trump imposing 100% and more tariffs on Chinese cars, they are now completely outpriced in the market. So some of the Chinese manufacturers ain't even thinking about getting into America at the moment because they know that their cars will not sell at that ridiculous price of $60, $70, $80, $90,000 for what you can buy across here at £25,000. Trump not only has took your freedom away, my American subscribers, but he's also took freedom of choice away. You have no choice but to buy what he dictates. Sad, but that's the way it is, and you're talking to a very pro-American person, especially when it comes to cars. You know, you're going to go look around you in this studio of mine and it's full of American memorabilia and car stuff, you know, because that's my childhood, my teens, my 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s and maybe even early 60s was all based around American cars. Been there, done it. So yeah, that's 2025 wrapped up in a nutshell for America. Let's move on. Now we'll move on to better things. We'll move on to Europe and the UK. Now take a quick look and we'll talk it over. Not heavy on the stats, but just to see where we are with BEVs. As you can truly see, it's been a great year for EVs in general. Let's put it into perspective here, folks. When you consider that diesel car sales have dropped this year against last year, petrol sales are down 14% from last year. So the whole car industry has fell. So all sales are down. So when people say EV sales are down, they're not selling them. In ratio terms, they're still selling more than petrol and diesel year on year, in percentage terms. So let's get that right. So that's been great for 2025 with EVs here in the UK. It has also been a great year to see Chinese brands hitting the UK like missiles, man. I'm telling you. Wow, I've never seen so many new EVs, and they've been nearly all Chinese, the ones that have been selling well. So 2025, great year for the UK with electric vehicles. I do believe 2026 will be the same, but slightly hit because of something I'm going to mention later on in this post. And in Europe also, European sales have also gone up. Germany had a bit of a bleh because they took their incentives off their EVs a few months back, so that hurt sales, but they're coming back up again, they're establishing. Tesla not doing great in Europe at the moment, although they are still selling cars, and in the numbers they are selling, still beat a lot of the legacy people. They're still right up there, but they're not selling as much. This, however, out of Europe is great news. Diesel's only 8%. So 2025, good year in the UK and Europe for EVs in general, with sales stabilising, if not still going high in certain areas. Gotta be good news. Diesel, gone. Petrol, falling, which is also great news. And I'll finish this off with the UK and Europe and say that you've got to remember, and this will hurt some of the YouTubers with the flat caps and the Volvo estates. For every one EV sold new, that's one less fossil fuel car new. Combustion is not the future. And now it's going to bring me on to some downers of EVs in 2025, but to me it's positive still. Okay, in the budget, and I have done a post about this, so I'm not going to dwell on this too much. There's a post, as you can see up there, look. Yeah, that one there, go and watch it. And I know it might bore you because it's happened, you know, a couple of months ago now, but it's there. People have been doom watching, especially the anti-EV crowd out there, with the likes of, you know, Porsche Taycan. You know I'm talking about, Mr. Mac. Hello there. You weren't bad when I met you. Even he's done a video about, oh, it's the end of EVs, 3P, blah, blah, blah. Well, it isn't. Let's face a few facts here. This 3P thing that she's whacked us on in this year ain't going to happen until April 2028. Also, people have not realised the stealth tax that's gone on to petrol and diesel fuel. I'm not going to go into figures, just go and watch that video. It's all up there. But you're still 40% better off than any diesel or petrol car user because the tax on their fuel is far higher than 3p per mile. Do the maths. I'm coming away. So that's 2025 done in the tax side of it. I'll move away from Rachel, bless her, because it has upset a few. It's not upset me. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. But again, watch that. I'm not going to rant any further. Let's move on. Well, guys and girls, this one's coming very late. I was about to edit this and finish it off and put it out there just before the Christmas break. And today there has been a decision made by Europe, let's just blame Europe, to put back the combustion car. I don't call it a ban. I won't even call it a mandate. I call it forward thinking for another 5 years. So they're actually getting rid of their so-called 2035 let's stop making ICE cars event. Some ICE drivers seem to think that it's the end of the world because they can't turn and twist on a starter motor and pollute the earth through an exhaust. I just don't get it. Anyway, this has come about not because of the fools on Facebook or YouTube or whatever complaining about it's the end of my combustion life. This is because of the manufacturers are panicking a tiny bit regarding their future and their profits. And to top it all now, they really think that by holding back another 5 years, they're going to save themselves as legacy manufacturers. Some will go under. If they are coming away from EV production, and I know they're not to a point, don't get me wrong, this is not all about this, and I think, let's just clear this one up before I go any further. This is nothing to do with stopping EVs. This is nothing to do with actually turning full circle and not producing any more EVs and going back to internal combustion engines. It is not. Get that way out of your mind. Capital, I don't see it as a bad thing. I just see it as a bit of a reprieve to the auto industry, who seems to think that they want to carry on selling the odd combustion car because they need the profit. But that profit has got to be put into EV production. And the ones that don't do this, the ones that actually sit back and think that EVs are not the future, will not be here in 5 to 10 years. So just stalling it another 5 years, to me, is just delaying the obvious. But again, like I say, it leaves a gap for things to be tightened up, cleaned up, so that no one's got any excuse not to own an EV in, say, 5 to 10 years' time. There won't be this excuse about, it only does 150 mile range. It takes me an hour to charge it up. The infrastructure's not there. I live in a terraced house. Well, all that will be cleared up, trust me, within the next 5 years, and this delay is just a delay. And now back to Chinese cars, something that's shown its head in 2025. So this brings me to how clever they are at their marketing. I have heard through the dealerships and the network that the Chinese are actually letting their cars go to dealerships at virtually zero cost to them. In other words, they're not making any profit on the car by the time it's shipped to the UK. It's under conformity of the UK and it's ready for the road at the dealership. The actual manufacturer is making very, very little, if nothing at all. Because what China's quite happy to do for the next 5 years is get these things into the marketplace. Get people used to buying them, get used to driving them, and accept them for what they are, to become a legacy car brand. So your likes of MG and BYD, and NIO and XPeng, they're going to be the norm. And when they are the norm, it will be your next car to buy because you've been pleased with it for the price and everything else. So they're not into making big profits. They don't need to. They can make their profits in China. So to get into the Western world and to break the legacy manufacturers, these things are being chucked at dealers at super, super low cost. And it's only the dealer who's making the good money on these new ones, may I add. And quite obvious they are. You've only got to look around, folks. And again, I've got some videos, including this one here. This is in Loughborough. This was the Ford dealership that I grew up with. They're selling BYDs and MGs now and everything else, and they've gone like pretty much Chinese. And everyone else is doing it. There's a Vauxhall dealership now in Loughborough as well, selling Cherry. So everyone's jumping on the bandwagon of Chinese because they know they are getting them for next to nothing. But then when they're selling them, they're making good money. They're probably making better money on a Chinese EV than they are selling their own domestic product from Ford or Stellantis. Pretty much sure of that. Else why would they take them into their dealerships? 2025, yeah, boom time for Chinese cars, which I haven't got a problem with, but there is an underlying issue there, I believe, that is a bit unfair. But if that's the way they want to get in the market, what can we do about it? If buyers are buying them and people are happy, why not? Okay, 2025 and me. On the personal level, what's happened to me and this channel? We've pretty much done what we intended to do. We didn't take the electric van on in the early 2025 like we were going to do. We've held back on that. I've had a massive knee issue and I've got a brand new knee now in there, which is healing very well. Car wise, sold my Tesla, got myself a Genesis GV60, beautiful car, no doubt about it. Very pleased with it overall so far. Also bought the wife's car, Chinese Aura, which I've mentioned again on this channel. You can see it here. There's a couple of videos on it. But help yourself. So 2025 has not been bad for me at all. What else have we got on for 2026? Well, we're thinking about buying a small caravan. So we'll be towing with the Genesis. If that happens, look out for those posts and videos. They'll be quite funny at times, I guess, because I ain't towed a vehicle for a few years. And also the fact of how it reacts, how it goes, what it's like to tow with an electric vehicle. So that'll be going on in 2026. So that's me pretty much done to let you know what's happening and what we've done in 2025. I nearly forgot. I moved house. We now live in a small 2-bed bungalow, which you've seen on the channel. We have invested heavily in renewables for this place. Heat pump, solar, batteries, and again, like I said, another EV. Got rid of the gas out of the property completely. So yeah, plenty to look at on the channel with these posts here. I'll flash a few up. Go please and watch them if you want to know how we are surviving with a heat pump and solar and batteries and everything else. Some good little videos to watch on there if you're into renewables and sustainability. And that will be another quite deep part of the channel in 2026, so look out for that. But in this year, 2025, that's when this all happened. And it's something I wanted for the last 3 or 4 years, but living in a holiday lodge, I couldn't do. That's about it for me to wrap it up. A few bits I wanted to bring up to end this year of 2025. So enjoy your Christmas and your New Year. Don't eat too much, don't drink so much. And we'll see you back then in early 26 with, I'm quite sure, some new stuff for the channel. Catch you later. Thank you so much for being with me in 2025. Bye now.